Yeah, good morning, everyone. Yep. So we shared an online people, we shared one link. Offline people at the end of session, I will share a community link. You join it. So in that community link, we will share the notes and everything. At the end of session, I will share you the WhatsApp community link. You join it. So yesterday we discussed about few concepts. Let me give you the summary about yesterday concept. So you remembered yesterday we discussed about what is React, and we learnt about difference between React and Angular. We discussed about difference between them. So we learnt about why we need React, and we also discussed about where React is used, in which kind of project we use, and we discussed about what are the challenges in modern web development. These are key points we discussed yesterday. We learned about these topics yesterday. So if you remembered these concepts, what is React? React is a library. It is a library for building user interface for web and native applications. So React is a library. So can you build applications using React? No. So you need frameworks. What are React frameworks? Next.js, Remix, Gatsby, Expo. These are all the React frameworks, right? And what is difference between React and Angular? I told you React is library, Angular is a framework. So is React Angular, are they alternative to each other? It's not. They are not replacements. So we need both of them in different projects. Which project needs React? So where backend is already implementing various frameworks, only good interface you want in the front end, then better use what? React. If you want to control the front end also using frameworks, then you go with the Angular. That is the best one, right? And what are the challenges? Why we need React? What are the challenges in modern web development? Yesterday you remembered. So unified user experience, fluid user experience, and loosely coupled. Loosely coupled and extensible. Loosely coupled and extensible. What is unified experience? Unified experience means an application has same experience across all devices. That means how you experience a device application on a PC or a tab or a mobile, everywhere it should have same. That is unified. What is fluid experience? Fluid experience means there will not be page by page access. User will stay on only one page. Everything comes onto that page. So what is loosely coupled extensible? Loosely coupled and extensible means user means developer must able to add new features without disturbing the application. And application should perfectly work with the new features without any failures. That means we can develop new features and we can add them into application whenever we want. That is not easy. These are all very important in modern. So what is solution? What is solution? Solution is better to build what kind of applications? single page applications, and what? Progressive web applications. Single page applications, progressive applications have unified experience. They have fluid experience. They have loosely coupled extensible architecture. Now, today we are going to understand the concept like yesterday I told you, can we build single page single page application using JavaScript and jQuery. JavaScript is language, jQuery is a library. Can you build single page application using JavaScript and jQuery? Yes, we can do that. Then why we are using new technologies? JavaScript can build single page application. jQuery also can build single page application. So then why we are going with React, Angular, Vue? If anybody asks what is the purpose of React, why you are using is for building user interface for single page applications. So can we build single page application using JavaScript and jQuery? Yes. Then why we are choosing new technologies? What is the new? Actually, single page application is not a new concept. Already we have single page applications from several years before React Angular. One of the world's popular single page application we have before React and Angular is Twitter. You know Twitter? So Twitter, if you experience Twitter, it will be same as I explained, unified experience, fluid experience. So single page application is not a new concept. Already we have single page applications, but we are using new technologies for building single page applications like React, Angular and all. So now the point here today, what we are going to understand is, so today we are going to understand another question is, what are the issues? What are the issues with JavaScript, and jQuery? What are the issues with JavaScript and jQuery? That means if we can build single page applications using JavaScript and jQuery, why we are using new technologies? Why we are using React, Angular like new technologies? What is the concept is? What are the issues with the JavaScript and jQuery? First, important, what are the problems with JavaScript and jQuery is JavaScript and jQuery use lot of DOM manipulations. They use lot of DOM manipulations. I hope you people know already DOM. What is DOM? Document Object Model, right? It needs lot of DOM manipulations. That means adding elements, removing elements, all DOM methods are required. So DOM manipulations, DOM interactions, so they are slow and heavy on application. They are slow and heavy on application. They are slow and heavy on application. DOM manipulations, DOM interactions are very slow and heavy on application. Another important problem is actually it requires to use lot of AJAX. It requires to use lot of AJAX. You learnt AJAX in JavaScript. AJAX means you learnt fetch methods, XML, HTTP request objects. So if not basic, I will explain here the point. Actually, without disturbing existing information, we need to load new information in a page. So for that, we need lot of AJAX and we need to write lot of AJAX methods. Explicitly, we have to use lot of AJAX. Single page application means user will stay on one page and some new details will come on to the page without refreshing the page. Usually if a page have to update, what happens if a page have to update, we have to refresh the page. But what Ajax can do, without refreshing the page, it can load the new details into the page. That is the concept of what? Ajax. So we need to use lot of Ajax explicitly. Externally, we have to use lot of Ajax. So technically, JavaScript and jQuery have all these important problems. Lot of DOM methods, DOM manipulations, they are slow in interactions. Lot of Ajax is required to design single page applications. I think you already learned in JavaScript how to bring the data from JSON API files and display in the page using Ajax methods and all. That is a lengthy process of interacting with the APIs and all. These are major issues with the JavaScript and jQuery. So to overcome these problems, we have the technologies like React and Angular. What Angular can do? What are the features of Angular that usually you will learn when learning concept of Angular? So what we are going to learn today is how React is better than JavaScript. How React is better than jQuery, because jQuery is also a library. So how it is better than others? What are its key features? We will see. So we are going to understand features of React.js. What are the key features of React.js? You say React.js or React, yesterday I told you anything is same. So what are the features? What are the features of React? What is the concept of React? Let's see what are the key features. That means how React.js is better than JavaScript and jQuery like libraries. First important feature of React is React React uses virtual DOM. This is one major feature. This is the first important feature of React.js. React uses virtual DOM. It uses virtual DOM. Now you need to understand what is this virtual DOM. So let's see what is this virtual DOM. To understand virtual DOM, you need to know so many things. You need to understand so many concepts, then you can understand the DOM. So I will show you one important concept, how the DOM actually works. In HTML, CSS, when you learned HTML, you might already learned what is DOM and how it actually works. But I will show you one more concept here. That means just overview I will give you here. So what is the first important feature? It uses what? Virtual DOM. What is this virtual DOM? To understand, that means you need to understand some more points. Means I will keep this paused. We will discuss some other points, then you can understand this concept. So to understand virtual DOM, first you need to understand some important questions like what is DOM? You need to first understand what is DOM. So what is the concept of DOM? You learnt already HTML. What is DOM? Not full form. So DOM is an hierarchy of elements in a page. DOM is an hierarchy of elements in a page. So actually, what is the concept of DOM? You already learnt in HTML about HTML parsing. I will explain that. See, for people who are already aware, that's good. If not, I will just give an overview, just see that. Actually, we have browsers. So we have browser. Generally, this browser have to use your HTML. Generally, our developer writes markup. Developers usually write markup. Markup, that means developer writes the markup like this. B, hello, like this, developer writes markup. When developer writes markup, this markup this markup is translated. Directly, this markup is not understandable to browser. Browser cannot understand the markup that you have written. This markup is translated into markup is translated into bytes. That means this markup is translated into binary code, byte code. Developers will write markup. Markup is translated into bytes. After that, these are translated into characters. Those bytes are converted into characters. Characters means angle bracket, B, angle bracket, close, like that. So we have like hello, HELLO, and we have a close container. So like this, the entire bytes are converted. So developer first writes the markup. Markup is translated into bytes. Bytes are converted into characters. These characters are combined. Actually, the characters are formed into tokens. The characters are formed into tokens. Token means they are converted into tokens. Token is nothing but usually you people call as tag. Actual technical name is not tag. Technical name is what? Token. That means these characters are converted into tokens. That means B, that is a bold token. A, that is an anchor token. You know that, right? So the characters are converted into tokens. They are converted into tokens. So we usually call these tokens as what? Tags. After that, these tokens are converted into tokens. Tokens are converted into nodes. They are converted into nodes. We call these nodes as elements. Tokens are converted into nodes and we call those nodes as elements. That means you say anchor element, bold element, heading element, paragraph element. These are converted into elements. Tokens are converted into elements. That means actually these are token names and these are element names. Element names like bold, like anchor, these are the elements names. After converting into the elements, these elements are arranged in a hierarchical order. Let me expand this. Yeah. These elements are arranged in one hierarchical order. These elements are arranged in a hierarchical order. That means they are arranged in a hierarchical order. All these elements are arranged in a order called elements are arranged into DOM, a hierarchical order called DOM. That means DOM is nothing but what is the DOM? So in the DOM, you have a parent element, right? And the parent element comprises of child elements. This is the hierarchical order of elements. This is called as what? DOM. And after that, this DOM, that means this is the process actually, markup to character bytes, bytes to characters, and the characters are converted into tokens. Tokens are arranged into elements. Elements are arranged in an order called DOM. They are arranged in an order called DOM. They are arranged in a hierarchical order DOM. After arranging the elements in an hierarchical order, they undergo a process called render. They undergo a process called render. We have a process called render. After rendering, there will be a process called layout. After rendering, there will be a process called layout. We have render process and we have layout. That means after rendering and layout, after rendering, there will be a layout process. After layout, there will be another process called paint. There will be a process called painting. After layout, you have a process called painting. And now this painting process is nothing but it is going to generate the output inside the browser. It will put the word, you can see it will put the word hello in bold. This is the hierarchy. This is how HTML is translated in your browser. That means when you write HTML, you know already you learned HTML inside browser is translated by whom? Browser engine. Every browser have a browser engine. HTML is translated inside browser by a browser engine. And what are the names of browser engines? V8. V8 is a name of browser engine. It is used by Chrome. Edge uses a browser engine called Chakra. Firefox uses a browser engine called Gecko, Spider, Monkey. These are browser engines. That means HTML inside browser is translated by browser engines. There are so many browser engines. Every browser have different engines. And this is how the translation happens. How the translation happens. That means what happens? Developer will write the markup. Markup is converted into bytes. Bytes are translated into characters. Characters are converted into tokens. Tokens are arranged in an hierarchy. They are converted into nodes. Nodes are arranged in a hierarchical order called DOM. And DOM undergoes a process called rendering. Rendering means generating output. After rendering, layout is prepared. Layout means where which content has to display. After layout, there is a painting process. For example, I will show you. See. So for example, roughly I'm showing you a HTML page. So roughly I'm showing a HTML page and just sample.html. Observe carefully. Here I'm writing some bold and I say hello. So bold and hello. I haven't written anything else. Just I written only this. Now open on server and observe, right click and select inspect. The developer tools will open. In developer tools, go to performance. There is a category called performance. When you go to performance, in performance, you have a record button. Click that record button. And once recording started, you refresh this page. After refreshing the page, so wait for few seconds, 10-15 seconds, let it profile, then stop. When you stop, it will show all the process happened in the background. And this is the process happen in the background. you can see the process in the background. You can see this is the process in the background. So loading, messaging, scripting, rendering, and what? Painting. And the result of this painting, the result of painting is what you are watching on screen. These are the various phases. All other phases happen inside browser that you will not see. Like I told you, characters to tokens, tokens to convert to elements. And observe carefully, I written only bold in my HTML page. But see, when I go to elements, it will arrange in an order. It is not just printing bold. It is arranging in a hierarchical order. That means it knows the order where to keep. That means head, body. It knows the hierarchical order. This is called as what? DOM. Document Object Model. Actually, that is technical process happens inside the browser. So I will show you the basic flow here. Actually, already in HTML, all these you will learn when you start learning HTML. These are all different browser engines. These are all different browser engines. You see, these are the browser engines I will show. Yeah, these are the browser engines. These are different browser engines. Every browser have different engine. These are the browser engines. These are browser engines. Generally, when you start learning HTML, you know browser architecture, how your HTML is translated in browser. These are basic things. Every browser have a different engine. These are various browser engines. And this is the browser architecture. Inside the browser, this all will be there. Inside the browser, this all will be there. In HTML, I hope you already learned this, right? And when you look at any browser like Edge or Firefox or Safari like engines, browsers, every browser have a UI. UI is what? User interface. User interface is nothing but back button, refresh button, address bar, extensions, whatever you see in browser, those are called as what? UI, user interface. Every browser have a user interface. Buttons, shortcuts, address bar, that is called UI. Can you change the button, back button color? Can you change the back button functionality? Can you change the refresh button functionality? You cannot. In browser, there is a back button. Can you remove it? That's what I am asking. Can you disable it? Can you change its functionality? No, you can just use how it is given. Actually, if you want, you can remove that button. But if that browser is an open source browser, browsers are open source. Open source means you can customize the browsers. If browser is open source, you can modify. If browser is not open source, you cannot modify. Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Safari, these are not open source browsers. They don't allow to modify their browser. But in the market, there are so many open source browsers you can download, which you can customize. That means when you click back button, it will go back to the previous page. That means there is some functionality written. That functionality is UI backend. UI backend will be there. Every browser have a UI, user interface. That user interface related logic is written inside UI backend. Usually you are not given access to UI backend. That is the reason you cannot modify the browsers. If you have given access to UI backend, you can modify. You can modify. So every browser is having a UI and UI backend. And every browser have a browser engine. The responsibility of this browser engine is translating HTML and CSS. In the browser, HTML and CSS are translated by using a browser engine. Generally, when you learn HTML or anything, usually people say that you are learning HTML because browser understands only HTML. That's not correct. Why? Because browser understands only binary codes. Even your HTML also browser cannot understand. It need to be translated. And who is responsible for translating that? Browser engine. And as I showed you, there are so many browser engines. Every browser has different engine. That is the reason HTML, CSS, JavaScript have browser compatibility problems. Browser compatibility problem means in one browser some options work, in another browser they don't work. That is because every browser has its own engines. So technically, what is the job of browser engine? Translating HTML and CSS. After translating, presenting HTML and CSS is done by rendering engine. Rendering engine is responsible for generating output and presenting. First, translating is done by browser engine and output is generated by rendering engine. Inside browser, HTML, CSS are translated by browser engine, but not JavaScript. For translating JavaScript, there is a JavaScript interpreter inside browser. You have JavaScript interpreter. JavaScript interpreter is nothing but JavaScript translator. Every browser have a JavaScript interpreter, and what is its job? Translating JavaScript. Whatever JavaScript you written, it is not understandable to browser. It is translated by JavaScript interpreter. So HTML, CSS translated by browser engine. JavaScript is translated by JavaScript interpreter. And whenever you request any website, what images it needs, what links it needs, what pages it needs, locating them, accessing them, and loading them. All this work is done by networking. That means in a browser, in address bar, when you type some address, you see browser shows a message, not found. Am I right? So not found, server not responding, please try after some time. This is all managed by networking. When you make a request in browser, the requested content is located and it is loaded inside browser by using the concept of what? Network. So browser internally have so many things. Another point, browser have data persistence. You know, in browser you can save your passwords. Where your passwords are stored. I hope in JavaScript you learned local storage, session storage, state management, cookies. Am I right? So in JavaScript, you know how data is stored. All these are stored in browser memory. Every browser have a storage. Your IDs, your passwords, your data can be stored inside this data persistence. So this is the browser architecture. Every browser works in this way. So browser UI backend, browser engines, rendering engine, JavaScript interpreter, networking, and data persistence. Actually, you can see all of them. Later, you will see whenever you learned all these HTML and all. And see, this is how the HTML parsing works. That means HTML parsing means HTML translate. Developer will write markup is converted to bytes are converted to characters converted into tokens are converted into nodes. Nodes are arranged in a hierarchical order called DOM, document object model. And this DOM will undergo a process called rendering, After rendering layout, after layout, paint. The final stage is painting. Painting is nothing but the process of presenting your content. Whatever you designed, it is presenting. That process is called as painting. This is the basic hierarchy how your HTML works. How your HTML works. In one side, HTML DOM. In another side, CSS object model. CSS OM is CSS object model. One side HTML DOM will be there, another side CSS object model will be there. So browser presents everything in a hierarchical order, and that hierarchical order is called as what? DOM. This is how it actually processes. Generally in interviews, these type of questions are asked. That means for fresher experience people, difference is for fresher, they will ask what is this concept? And for experienced people, they ask, explain how this concept works. That means for fresher, what they ask, what is browser? Fresher will give an answer like browser is a tool we use, or we open web pages in browser. That is fresher. For experienced people, what they ask, explain how browser works. That means he need to know how his browser works. What is the architecture behind this? How HTML is translated, who translates, how JavaScript is translated, how it is presented. All these are important for experience interviews. So technically, this is first point to make you understand about what is DOM. I hope everyone is clear, right? Everyone is clear about this, right? So here you saw this, I showed you, this is painting and process. Observe carefully. There is a category called network. When we go to this network category, you see, open this network category. After opening this network category, one second. Yep. Open this network category, and in this network category, you request any page. Suppose I am requesting Amazon.in. When I hit enter, you can observe carefully, network is going to identify all the resources and load. You can observe at the bottom, it is identifying all the resources and loading them. So network is responsible for locating the resources and loading them. All the images that you are watching, all the content that you are watching is loaded by network. This is actually network. How much time it is taking to load, whether it loaded successfully or not, everything it will show in the network. You can also see what are the contents loaded. You can also see the contents loaded. If you want, you can double click and open that content. What contents is loading, everything is shown through this network. Another, as I told you, data persistence. If you want to store, if you want to see what browser is storing, your passwords, your IDs and all, you can go to application category. In application category, it will have storage, local storage, session storage, what data it is storing. You can see all this. Anyhow, you learnt all these in your JavaScript. What is a local storage, session storage, what is difference, what are cookies, how to handle cookies. These all concepts comes in JavaScript state management. When you learned state management in JavaScript, you know all this. How to store data in browser, how to access the data from the browser memory and all these things. Technically, this is the first point you need to understand, and that is the concept of DOM. So what is DOM? It is a hierarchy of elements in page. It is a hierarchy of elements in page. Browser engine. browser engine presents content. Browser engine presents content in a hierarchical order. Hierarchical order. Arranges content in a hierarchical order by using HTML parsing. These all generally HTML topics, but just overview I am giving one more time for people who are not aware of them, right? So, and how the HTML parsing works? HTML parsing. HTML parsing have an order. Markup to bytes, bytes to characters, characters to tokens, tokens to nodes, nodes to DOM. DOM will undergo a process. After render, layout. After layout, paint. That is the process. That is the complete process how it works. This is HTML parsing. And one more for people who are not aware, browser architecture. That presentation I will share with you into a drive link in the community. You can go through that. Browser architecture. In browser architecture, what are the components? You have the user interface. You have UI backend. You have a browser engine. You have rendering engine. You have JavaScript interpreter. You have networking. We have data persistence. These are all the components in browser. DOM, HTML parsing, browser architecture. Now, another important point, browser engines. Browser engines, you know the browser engines. As I told you, V8 is one engine. Chakra is one engine. Chromium is another engine. WebKit is an engine. Gecko and SpiderMonkey. These are the engines. Different browsers have different engines. V8 is the engine of Chrome. Chakra is engine of Edge. WebKit is engine of Safari. Gecko, SpiderMonkey are the engines of Firefox, Mozilla Firefox. These are browser engines. So these are general concepts you need to know. I explained this because you need to understand what is the concept of DOM, right? So first you need to know what is a DOM. Once you know what is DOM, now comes another important is what is shadow DOM. DOM, shadow DOM and virtual DOM. These are three important interview questions in React.js. When you attend React interviews, these type of questions are asked. They ask what is difference between, remember, 70% of React interview is on JavaScript because React is a JavaScript library. And in JavaScript, they will ask you questions in such a way that you never heard in JavaScript, right? That means For you, when you learn JavaScript, maybe just basic of document, write, get element by ID, on click, on change. But in interviews, there will be so many complicated questions. So usually at high level, you will learn all of them. Technically, these are the concepts of JavaScript on DOM, and another one, what is shadow DOM? Another question asked, what is shadow DOM? So what is shadow DOM? I will tell you. Everyone understood DOM? Yes. Now what is shadow DOM? Let's see. Shadow DOM is nothing but, for example, I am designing here a HTML page. Yes, suppose here I have input type as date. Actually, by seeing this, you know already input type date, it will put a calendar. You know, na? Right. But usually what people think is, they think that this is an element. Date is an element. No, it's not an element. It is a component. It is a component. Do you know, actually, input type date is designed with a lot of design markup. That means it is not just an element, it is a component. For example, I will open this in browser. Let's run this. When you open this, you see this normal. Actually, people think that it is just element. Actually, it is not element, it is a component. Do you know, this is a div. Inside the div, there are spans. There is a button. And when you click the button, it will open a pop-up. So this is not an element. There is a hierarchy of elements inside it. This is called component. Component have hierarchy elements inside it. If you want to see them, right click, inspect. In the settings, observe carefully. Here we will have settings, browser settings. In that settings means these are debugger settings. In the settings, go to an option called shadow DOM. You select this shadow DOM. If you don't select shadow DOM, see, if I not selected shadow DOM, you can observe that in the body, this input is simple. Am I right? If you want to know how this input is designed, then you go to settings. In settings, you select shadow DOM and close. You observe now that date is designed. That date is designed with a lot of elements inside it. You see how much it is there. You may be thinking like button is an element, but actually technically button is not an element. It is a component. It is a div. Inside the div, you can have some text images. That div is clickable. These are not elements. These are called as what? Components. That means they are designed with a lot of hierarchy again. The hierarchy of elements in a page is called DOM. Hierarchy of elements in a component, this is called as shadow DOM. Understood the difference? DOM is hierarchy of elements inside page. Inside page, you may have some components. That component is built with again a hierarchy. That hierarchy is called as what? Shadow DOM. Shadow DOM. HTML have DOM and shadow DOM. So what is shadow DOM? So technically, what is shadow DOM? It is a hierarchy of elements in a component. It is a hierarchy of elements in a component. Actually, HTML have various components, like you have input type date. It is a component. Input type email. It is a component. Input type number. that is also a component. Input type range, that is also a component. These are all various components. So many components are there. They are not elements. Actually, input is element. Date, email, number, all these are components. So HTML have DOM and shadow DOM. So we have two important things to understand. Browser presents everything in a DOM, and inside the DOM, some components may be there, and every component will have its own hierarchy of elements. That is called as shadow DOM. So we have DOM and we have shadow DOM. Now the question is, what is virtual DOM? Now the concept, what is virtual DOM? As I told you, React.js main feature is what? Virtual DOM. What is this virtual DOM? Virtual DOM is good but not satisfying every time. It is good but not satisfying every time. For example, I will tell you here, what is virtual DOM? What is the concept of virtual DOM? Let's see. Actually, virtual DOM is nothing but, so this already we have a diagram we will save with you. Suppose we are having a browser. We are having some browser. So we have a browser. Now we are writing some logic. That means actually browser presents everything in a hierarchical order, as I told you. So that is DOM. DOM is nothing but it is having parent, and inside the parent it is having child elements. So it presents everything in a hierarchical order. I hope you have seen this DOM hierarchy in your JavaScript. What element, how it presents everything. This is child 1 like that. So this is child 1, some, okay, and child 2 like this. And as I said, this is DOM. Browser presents everything in a DOM. Now what happens is every browser have memory. Every browser is having some memory. So this is actually browser memory. Now what happens is, this is browser memory. What happens is browser is going to maintain, this is the DOM. DOM is actual DOM. Browser is going to maintain a copy of this DOM in the memory. It is going to maintain a copy of the DOM into memory. This copy of memory in memory, this copy of DOM in memory, this is called as what? Virtual DOM. Now what happens is, this is your page. You are having a page. You are having a page. And now this page is converted into DOM and it is presented. But what it is doing is, it is using a virtual DOM. Suppose what happened in this page, you added a button. That means you done some modification. Some click happened, some message is displayed. So you done some action in the page. Actually, this action will be performed in the virtual DOM and it will show you the result immediately. It is going to show the result immediately, but it is not updating in actual DOM. To update in actual DOM, it will take time. Understood? That means it is showing you result, but actually it is not finished. In the background, it is doing the work. That means you updated something, immediately you got the result, but in the background, it is still working. That means this virtual DOM updates to actual DOM. What JavaScript, jQuery, all these people do, even Angular, what those people do is they directly update on DOM. If you do any modification, it is directly updated on DOM. But React is not doing that. React is using what? Virtual DOM. That is the reason if you are directly doing on DOM, it will take time because DOM has to update, it should reflect you. But if you are doing virtual DOM, it is fast. That means actually React says that we are 10x faster than any other technology in the world. 10 times faster than any another technology in the world. But actually it is bluffing you. For example, just point I will tell you, you are making a bill payment for some credit card or electricity in some app, some phone pay or some app. When you are paying, they will show you a message that payment successful. But to reflect that payment, it will take time now, right? Then how you are confirmed, how you are satisfied? Understood the point? That means they are satisfying you that bill payment successful, but amount is still not credited. It will take time. That, but you are satisfied that okay, it is done. But actually it is not done. It will take some time. That is how React is bluffing the customers. That means what React is bluffing the clients, saying that I already done, but it is actually doing it. That means for a user, it looks like it is very fast. It responded very fast, but actually it is updating. This is very good in web because it immediately responds with you. But actually it is taking time. For technicians, it is not satisfying every time. That means some developers are not satisfied. That means you see, when you watch YouTube channels and all, everybody have their own ideas. Some people say, I'm not satisfied with React.js. Some people say, I'm not satisfied with Angular. Why? Because for their kind of requirement, for example, now why some people have a complaint on this? What is that complaint? It is fast. But what is the complaint? Complaint is you are maintaining an entire DOM copy in memory. Then memory is heavy now. Am I right? So memory is heavy. That means that is an issue. But that is not a major issue for browsers. That is the reason React says that this is our best feature. But other technologies don't have this. Many technologies directly interact with what? DOM. They say that we will not use any virtual DOM, we will update the DOM and reflect you. But React says that we are very faster because we are using which one? Virtual DOM. Virtual DOM. But that is not satisfying to all developers in every situation. That depends on their requirement. But majority, this is good. You know, Netflix is using React. Amazon is using React. Instagram is using React. Facebook is using React. All these are React applications. They are all built with React. Amazon is an official React application. Instagram is an official React. Facebook is an official React. Netflix is an official React. They are officially built in React.js. That means they are using, but actually they are bluffing you. That means they seem like fast, but actually in the background it will take some time. You don't worry about background, you just satisfy with the output. That is the reason one of the key feature of React.js is its virtual DOM. How this virtual DOM works, you are going to learn in React. You will see that. So what is virtual DOM? Tell me what is virtual DOM now? It is a copy of DOM in the browser memory. So page updates first into virtual DOM and renders the output immediately. But in the background, it should update and reflect in the actual DOM. It will take time. We are not worried about the background DOM. We are satisfied with the output. That is the concept of virtual DOM. So what is virtual DOM? It is a copy of DOM in browser memory. It is a copy of DOM in browser memory. Page updates virtual DOM and reflects output to user. However, it is updated into actual DOM later. However, it is updated into actual DOM later. So that is the concept of virtual DOM. How this virtual DOM created, how it works, that's what you are going to learn now. In React, you are going to see. To make you understand what is virtual DOM, I have to explain all this. Like what is DOM, what is shadow DOM, and what is virtual. Because majority of React.js interviews these days, they ask this. What is DOM, what is shadow DOM, and what is virtual? Because you will say that React feature is virtual DOM, then they obviously they ask what is DOM and what is shadow DOM, what is difference between them. So what is DOM? Hierarchy of elements in a page. What is shadow DOM? Hierarchy of elements in a component in page. What is virtual DOM? Copy of actual DOM. That means whenever page updates, it updates to the virtual DOM and reflects back. It seems like it is fast, but actually it updates in the background to the actual DOM later, right? This is the first important feature. To make you understand this feature, these all questions are important. That is the first feature of React.js. React.js is very popular because of its virtual DOM. Second important feature of React is it is modular. It is modular. Actually, in JavaScript, you already learned modules. JavaScript OOP concepts, module systems will be there. Modular approach. And it is modular. Modular is very important. So in JavaScript, you usually learn the concept of modular approach. You will know about the modular approach. So what is modular? Modular means part by part. Modular advantage is, so it is lightweight and faster. The advantage of being modular is it makes React lightweight and faster. Actually, what is modular system in JavaScript? JavaScript also provides module system, but you have to externally use the module system. And the React.js is internally a module system. It uses module system. So what is JavaScript module system? What is modular? I will tell you one simple point. In JavaScript, you already learned it. I will show a point. See, suppose we are having a script file. There is a script file demo.js. This is a script file. Demo.js is a script file. In this file, I have a function. So addition is a function. It will take two values and it will return a plus b. And we have another function. Some multiplication is a function. It will take a, b, two values and it will return a plus b, a asterisk b. And there is a function hello. It takes a username and it returns a message hello and username. This is just these are just some functions we are having in a file. I want to use these functions in this HTML page. In the HTML page, we have a paragraph on body load. On body load, I want to display addition, multiplication, and hello message inside paragraph. They are present in a separate script file. Then how to access these functions and use in our HTML page? How to access those functions and use in HTML page? We have to use a script. Script source is coming from where? SRC in that what? Scripts, which file? Demo.js. You have to link the file and you have to use it. Document.query selector, our paragraph inner HTML. In this, I am using hello. hello and I will send some name into this. Actually, this hello function is present in this file now. We are accessing and using. This is not good. This is not good. In JavaScript, you already learned OOP concepts and all. This is not good. Why? Because in this file, how many functions are there? 3 functions are there. Here, how many you are using? 1 function. To use 1 function, why you are importing all 3? Understood? That means you are having a script file with 200 functions and you are using only 1 or 2 functions in your page. Then you are linking a file of 200 functions. That's not good. You are loading 200 functions in memory and you are using only 1. Is it not heavy for application? Yes, this is the problem you already learned in JavaScript. How to overcome this works actually. This is working. This is working. You see, we have to display na. Where is it? Yeah, in demo.js, this is the function hello. Yeah, on load, we have to write a function. What is the function? Body load. On body load, we have to call this, and you see it is working. But this is not great. Why? Because you are linking a file with so many functions, but you are using only 1 function. This is not good. This is called legacy. That means actually 5-6 years back, your Java, .NET, all technologies were legacy type. Very recently, they changed it to modular type. Very recently. Earlier, they are all legacy type. Legacy means you have to import a library with hundreds of functions, but you are using only 1 function. But now they are becoming modular. Modular means you can import only what you need. You see now how to solve this problem. Observe carefully. We don't need to link this file. Without linking the file, we will make this export. You learned this in OOP concepts. Huh? So this is export. We are exporting these functions and see in the sample page, you have to just import. Import what? Import what? Hello from where? /src/script/ which file? Demo.js. This is not linking the file. It is importing only what you need. That means we are importing only 1 function from that file. And observe now, document.querySelector paragraph, inner HTML, we see, we write here hello, and we will put a name something, and you don't need body load and all now. And now script type must be module, and you can see that this is also working. But this is more better. Why? Because you are importing only 1 function. Suppose I want to use addition. In the next line, I am using addition. I am calling the function. What is it? Addition. Addition function. And into that, I am passing 2 values. And observe carefully, it is not working. It says that I don't find this addition because addition is not imported. So you can import addition, then you can use it. It will work now. What is the advantage of modular? You can import only what you need. You don't need to import everything. This is general JavaScript module systems. React.js completely uses this module system. That is the reason it is lightweight and it is fast. It is fast. Generally, JavaScript have a module system also. But this is important to understand that React internally uses this module system. What is the advantage of being modular? It is lightweight and it is fast. It is faster. So React, another important feature is what? Modular. It is modular. Another major feature of React is loosely coupled and extensible. This already I explained, right? What is advantage of loosely coupled and extensible? You can add new features into application without disturbing the application. That means you can build an application, you can add new features without disturbing the existing application. So without reinstalling the application, you can just add new features into the application. That is the specialty of loosely coupled and extensible. Loosely coupled and extensible. Another important is it is component based. It is component based. What is advantage of being component based is actually easy to reuse and extend. Component based advantage is easy to reuse and extend. We can easily reuse and extend. It is easy for maintainability. It is easy for maintainability and testability. Testability. Maintainability, testability, reusability, extensibility. All these are, they are easy when it is component based. Component based is very easy actually. Component based is very good. For example, already I showed you. You remembered just now I showed you input date. If you have to design that date, it will take time. What is advantage of component based already designed? Just you have to put it and use it. For example, if you learned Bootstrap, you know nav bars, carousels, right? That means technically nav bars, carousels, you don't need to design. Already they are designed. They are actually called as what? Components. So React JS is completely component based. What is advantage is you can build a structure and use it anywhere you want. You can simply reuse the environment. Reusability, maintainability, and extensibility. All these are the key features of what? React. So technically, one of the major advantages of React is what? Virtual DOM. It is what? Modular. It is lightweight and faster, loosely coupled and extensible, and it is component based. Being component based, it is easy to reuse and extend, easy to maintain and test. These are the key features of React. Remember, only technical features I explained. Actually, general features are there. General features you will see on internet and YouTube, people talk about them, but we don't take it seriously. Because on internet, when you search for features of React.js, you will see they will give a point like it is easy to learn. Are you serious? That means, is it a feature? And everywhere on YouTube channels, anywhere, anybody teaching you React, he will tell one of the main feature of React is it is easy to learn. Seriously, what you are talking about? That means if it is hard to learn, you will not use the technology. Is it easy to learn? Is it hard to learn? That is the feature. That's not a feature. Such features I am ignoring. I am discussing about only the key features. That means technical features. That's not a feature. That means actually people tell you that it is easy to learn, easy to use. They are not features. Technically, features means how they are helpful for application. How they are helpful for application. These are the key points. But React.js have some drawbacks also. One of the main drawback of React.js is, that means one important issue I will tell you. Issue with React is, one of the main issue with React is, so lot of gaps are present. Yesterday I explained gaps, na? What is gap? What client wants, React is not having that. Everything is not there. Lot of gaps. So you have to depend on lot of third party libraries. Libraries are required. lot of third parties libraries are required. But actually this is not a problem because several third parties are freely available. You can use them. You can easily integrate and work with them. That is the reason that is not a main concern, but that is a problem. Do you know in React.js, later when you start learning React, you will understand. In React.js, to design a form also you need a third party. To validate a form, you need a third party. To create navigation, you need a third party. That means React internally not having everything. It have to depend on lot of third parties. To connect with APIs, it needs a third party. That means internally it can do, but we are not satisfied. We use lot of third parties. That means React requires lot of integration of third parties. What is the purpose of these third parties? To achieve different functionalities. But that is not a big issue. It is a issue. But why it is not a big issue? Because all third parties are freely available. You can simply plug in and use them. And they are very easy and fast to use. That is the reason people are not very much concerned about that. But when compared to other technologies, in other technologies, all are internally available. But React.js, all are external. That means everything you have to add, attach and use. Internally, it is not having every feature. So limited. So everything you can plug. But what is at specialty is any technology can easily plug in. That means Java, .NET, PHP, Python, every technology can easily plug in with React. That is one specialty. So that is the reason every technology can easily use React. So it can plug in with everything. This is one major issue actually. Another important issue, as I told you, general issue is it is very fast in development. That means rapid pace of development, poor documentations will be there. Rapid pace of development means now currently which version of React? By the time you finish React, one more version is ready. That means developer don't have time to update to the versions. By the time you finish React 19, you will get React 20. In a year, they release 3-4 versions of React very fast. Developers adaptability is difficult, but it is not a big issue because some few changes they make, we have to just upgrade to those changes. So, but it is very fast, rapid development. That means 19 versions are there. By the time you finish React, one more version may come. That means you need to keep on updated yourself with the new features what they are releasing. These are all the basic points of React. I hope everyone understood. So what are the features and what are the issues? Now we have to start practically working with React. That means now we need to know how to start using React, how to install, set up and practically start using React in our projects. The practical approach of React starts now. That we will see from next session, right? Today and yesterday, I explained the overview about what is React, why you need, how it works. Now we will practically start working with this step by step. Whatever I show in class, you have to practice this now. That we will start from tomorrow, right? How to set up, what to install, everything we will discuss that. Tomorrow we will continue, okay? And you offline, online people, you join a WhatsApp community. I will share a WhatsApp community QR code. You please join the WhatsApp community and there I will upload the notes and other details and the previous videos also our admin will post there, right? The previous class videos, if anybody missed, those videos will be updated here. This is a WhatsApp community QR code. You can scan and you can join into this WhatsApp community. This is the WhatsApp community QR code. WhatsApp, from your QR WhatsApp, you can scan this QR and you can join this community. It is, as of now, it is empty. Our admin will share previous videos and notes here. Okay, yesterday's and today's notes and everything we will upload here. And from tomorrow, we are going to start practical. Okay. So that means installing, setup, React.js, how to work practically. We are going to start from tomorrow onwards. Okay. Tomorrow we'll continue then. Okay. Right. Thank you. This is not a photo to take, it is a QR code. Why you people have flashlights on? It is a QR code, not photo. Open your WhatsApp, scan. In WhatsApp, QR scanner is there now. It's working? Not working. Yet, if it is working, you can scan it, join the community, right? Yeah. Otherwise, tomorrow morning, we will keep in the notice board. So for offline people, you can scan that and join. Okay, right? Then we can leave now. We will continue tomorrow session. Huh? Mm. Yet tomorrow we will put in the notice board. You go through that. Huh? Okay, right.